Welcome to another edition of Film Favorites, where I share my favorite films from India's many film industries. Today's film I learned about from this fantastic little book by Avijit Ghosh called 40 Retakes. If you're a fan of Indian cinema and are looking for some films that maybe slipped under the radar, this is a fantastic book to check out. Hulla is a film about community frustration in India, not based on religion or regional or traditional social class groupings. It's about noise, pretty much, and how frustrating it can be in the big city. And there's one noise in particular that drives our protagonist crazy, but more on that in a second. Class definitely plays a role in this film, but the way it works out is unexpected and, like all good drama, inevitable. There will be moments for some of you that you may really find yourself frustrated with the protagonist, but I found myself identifying with him. As a foreigner living in India, I don't like drawing attention to India's weaknesses. It runs against the constructive goals of the channel, but I do have frustrations, and this movie hits on these so well. And it was refreshing, cathartic, to see an Indian character feeling my pain and giving a voice to it. But as we shall see, I don't think the protagonist is justified in what he does, and because of that, this movie helped me acknowledge some of these bad feelings I had about India and question their importance. For me, this film was like a really good counseling session. The central villain in the film, from the protagonist's perspective, is the night watchman's whistle. He can't sleep when it's being blown, and it seems to be sounding at every pivotal moment in his sleep cycle during the night. The Hulla that follows is in response to his attempts to get the RWA in his apartment complex to change the silly rule that says a night watchman should be blowing a whistle and hitting his nightstick so loud, so often all through the night. The film features Sushant Singh in the starring role, who does a fantastic job, and opposite him is none other than Rajat Kapoor, the legend, in another fantastic role as the head of the RWA. All the performances are spot on, a really colorful cast of diverse characters with great supporting actors. The script is satirical, but almost too real to be satire. I was praising Peoply Live for its authenticity, but Peoply Live still feels like a film at the end of the day. Hulla is something more. I don't question one moment this film. It feels like a document, a real-life story that I'm sure has played out in Mumbai at least once or thousands of times. Just a probing examination of human nature and our capacity to disagree over everything and push fights past their logical conclusion into the absurd. And in this film, it's the falling action, the denouement, the last 4 shots probably in the film, that really made this movie for me. The film is funny at times, witty, darkly comic, and has great social commentary throughout, but that last minute or so just pushes it to another level for me. I don't want to say more about the reason why, but by way of analogy, I'll mention a similar emotional response I had to a similar situation in a very different film, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, a Steve Martin and John Candy comedy classic from the other side of the Atlantic. John Candy is doing his typical annoying oaf shtick, and Steve Martin, after putting up with it for the better part of the film, loses it and flies into a self-righteous and hilarious tirade. It's such a satisfying moment because it's like getting to say everything you've ever wanted to say to annoying people in your life. You know, the relatives that just drive you nuts, that acquaintance that always seems able to get under your skin. Steve Martin just lets loose his anger, and you get to do this with him, and his condescending frustration is so articulate, it feels so good. But then the camera cuts back to John Candy. Crestfallen is the word. Humiliated, demoralized. And it reinforces the reason why we never say those things in real life, because as Tom Hanks' Joe Fox says in You've Got Mail, when you say the thing you mean to say, when you mean to say it, remorse inevitably follows. That feeling that I got in the aftermath of Steve Martin's tirade, when I finally identified with the source of the annoyance, multiply that feeling times 3, that's what Hulla accomplishes in its last minute. And it makes you realize that some fights just are not worth having, and there are bigger problems in the world than annoyance. There are human beings who are fighting to survive, and we, with our little quirky frustrations and neurotic obsession with control, will have to change if they are to keep surviving. Lesser films would have ratcheted this moment up to unnecessary levels to try to make it feel more devastating. The thing about great films like Salaam Bombay or Goodfellas or The Killing Fields or Hotel Rwanda, all fantastic films, but the thing about them is that they tend to take on a mythic quality. Most of us viewers of these kinds of films haven't experienced that level of human evil face to face. War, being born into abject poverty, being in the middle of wholesale ethnic cleansing and ideological slaughter. So when we see it, it's easier to compartmentalize the film, say how horrible, but not really apply it to our lives. Almost like a monster movie in the real world. but Hulla shines the light on the hapless victim that we ignore every day. No matter where we are in the world, no matter our ethnicity, nationality, language group, religion, or lack thereof, it's forcing us to ask the question, what role are we playing in the fate of other humans we may be ignoring? Are there human beings we see as frustrations and obstacles, and in trying to remove them, or even in ignoring them, are we helping ensure their fates? I give Hulla 5 out of 5 stars as a social commentary, and I'm extending the emoticonometer to a new level with this film, something higher than my shocked face emoticon, the meditative emoticon. I do not mean any disrespect to Hinduism or Buddhism with this emoticon. For me, film moments have been the #1 way I've achieved aha moments of transcendent clarity, and this film and this particular film moment that I've mentioned, for me, were truly transcendent. So many thanks to writer-director Jaideep Verma. I really hope to see more of your work. Your work is sorely needed in the filmmaking industry. What other movies would you like to see considered for this list? Do let me know in the comments. Until next time, keep it creative, keep it cross-cultural, constructive, and help me in my quest to find and celebrate the best films that India has to offer. Thank you so much for watching The Serving Violinist. Check out web series American Indian, the more polished documentary-style reality show version of our family's adventures in India. New episodes each month. Support the show on Patreon to help us keep improving by clicking here and get to see new episodes a month in advance. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep it creative, keep it cross-cultural, and keep it constructive, YouTube. Thank you very much.